Hello, my name is Preston Thomas, and this is episode 14 of The Way of Jesus. In this episode, I discuss the unforeseen problems that result from secularism and the ineffectiveness of present-day religion to combat this modern secular threat. How has the modern turn away from faith in God and the teachings of Jesus worked out? Not so well. This godless philosophy of modern secularism has led to unrest, animosity, unhappiness, war, and worldwide disaster. In the 20th century, when secularism came to dominate Western society, more humans were killed in wars than in all the wars up to that time. Further, when we look at today's world, we observe that modern nations are armed to the teeth with weapons that have grown many times more lethal than those of the past, and they continue to rapidly grow in destructive power. Simultaneously, natural antagonisms between nations are everywhere evident and grow more threatening. We are indeed living in a time of wars and rumors of war. Our materialistic secular world is headed towards even more devastating wars and destruction. The complete secularization of science, education, and industry has led to disaster. Without God, secularism can never coordinate and unify its many and rivalrous interests, races, and nationalism. In spite of its unparalleled materialistic achievements, modern society is slowly disintegrating. We see this all around us as marriages, families, churches, institutions, states, and nations are increasingly splitting apart. Of particular note is the modern trend of radical secularists to split off from the Judeo-Christian culture and tradition that has dominated Western civilization for almost 2,000 years. This modern trend toward the disintegration of present-day society will only increase as secularism continues to strengthen its control over modern life. Secularism can never bring peace to the world. Secular social and political optimism is an illusion. Without God, neither freedom and liberty nor property and wealth will lead to peace. The higher our civilization climbs, the more necessary it becomes to seek first the realities of heaven in all our efforts to stabilize society and solve our increasingly complex material problems. It is the belief in God that unifies societies, nations, and civilizations. A shared belief in God is the glue that holds us together and facilitates the solution of our ever more complex problems. Without this glue, our difficulties and problems will only increase and eventually overcome and destroy our civilization. It has been observed that the 20th century secularization of Western life has brought us many ill effects. To summarize, these include the blighting of spiritual experience, a determined opposition to the adoption of the teachings of Jesus, the attempt to completely purge the religious element from society, the loss of a God-ordained moral authority, and a moral relativism in which the ends justify the means. Other ill effects of materialism and secularism include widespread unrest and unhappiness, the most lethal wars in history, the threat of even more destructive wars in the future, and the ever-growing disintegration of society. In addition to all this, secularism has brought us another very great evil that must be recognized and opposed. After secularism freed us from the total control of life by medieval ecclesiastical authority, it betrayed us into the tyranny of the totalitarian political state. It freed the Western world from totalitarian church control, only to replace it with economic and political slavery to the totalitarian state. For more and more citizens, the maintenance of their economic livelihood and their status in society is dependent upon their subservience to the tyranny of the modern Leviathan state. The freedom of the individual and the right to choose one's own way of life taught by Jesus is being increasingly overcome and canceled by the dictates of the secular state. This secular totalitarianism that is rising in our world is a great evil that threatens to engulf the individual liberty and freedom of religion that has characterized the Western world. The great inherent weakness of secularism is that it discards ethics and religion in favor of politics and power. The moral righteousness and religious way of life taught by Jesus is ignored by modern secular society and opposed by powerful secular states that are determined to shape our behavior in their own godless ways. But we can never achieve social unity and the brotherhood of man while ignoring or discarding the fatherhood of God. Without belief in God and the true morality that is anchored in genuine religion, modern society can never hope to be unified. How do we escape from this dire situation in which we find ourselves? It has been observed that present-day society has ceased to make religious progress in the spiritualization of successive generations of mortals. Many sincere Christians have diverted their focus from their spiritual mission to bring Jesus' gospel of the kingdom to the world and substituted for it an emphasis on social service. Such social service is good, and is the natural fruit of believing Jesus' gospel and achieving the birth of the Spirit. But it should not take the place of our religious obligation to expand the kingdom of heaven. Our Judeo-Christian heritage is in decline, and we find ourselves in a state of spiritual stagnation. Present-day religion has proven ineffective in staving off the growing and powerful modern trend towards a totally secular society, devoid of moral righteousness and true religion. The critical question that we must face and find an acceptable answer to is this: what can be done to overcome this ever more powerful godless secularism and the numerous destructive and evil results that follow from its widespread adoption? This concludes episode 14. I will continue this discussion in my next broadcast. This next episode will provide the answer to the question of what can be done to overcome secularism and the evil results that follow from its widespread adoption. If you would like to gain a deeper understanding of Jesus and his original teachings, I invite you to order my book, The Life and Teachings of Jesus. This book can bring us the help, guidance, and comfort that only Jesus' life and teachings can provide. Here's what one reviewer had to say. I feel this book helps us to understand Jesus as a man and a spiritual teacher more than any book currently available. For anyone who wants a better understanding of the pure teachings of the Master, I can recommend this book without hesitation. This review was written by Samuel Walton. A beautiful leather-bound edition of the Life and Teachings of Jesus is available from Amazon. Links to this book, as well as the audio edition and the ebook, are listed in the description. It is also available online at thelifeandteachingsofjesus.org. If you enjoyed this video broadcast and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share it with your friends. Likewise, for podcasts, please give it a 5-star review. If you are interested in watching or listening to past episodes, you may find links at thewayofjesus.us. Thank you. See you next time.